Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today's pick a card reading is going to be messages and predictions for your month of March 2026. We will start off this reading with a general overview where we see the main themes and the main energies of your month ahead, any significant events or changes coming your way that you should know about. And then we will get into messages for specific areas of your life. So we're going to be taking a look at your love life and relationships, your career and studies, your spiritual and personal growth, as well as your community and the collective. There are 3 groups to choose from today. With each group, there is a different crystal / object, and there's also a different oracle card. I just shuffled the oracle deck. This is the You and I Immersive Oracle, and whichever cards came out are the ones that I have placed here. I do not know off the top of my head what these cards mean, so once you have selected your group intuitively, the first part of your reading will be looking at the guidebook together and determining what this card is trying to tell you. So, without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. For my group number 1s, we have this glass heart that looks like a beach. And this is your oracle card. It has the number 41. For my group number 2s, we have this key. And this is your oracle card. It has the number 35. And for my group number 3s, we have this bismuth. And this is your oracle card. It has the number 4. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the beachy glass heart and this oracle card, this is going to be your reading all about your month of March 2026. So the first thing we have to do is reveal what this oracle card is and what it's trying to tell you. So I'm going to find it in the guidebook. It's card number 41. It's on page 89. And this card is called Projections. Let me hold it up while I read the passage. A world is in front of a mirror, but the mirror does not seem to reveal everything that the world shows in the same way. It comes quite close in shapes and colors, but loses important details which apparently are not seen. The curious thing is that life unfolds in the mirror and not on the other side. And yet, neither the projector nor the projection is final, but both are different projections of the core frequency that is in the unknown space. If we had to divide this by their levels of understanding, we would say that half of the people are inside the mirror, the other half perceive more the image reflected by the mirror than the mirror itself, and a smaller number observe the 2 scenarios from the outside, understanding them as simple projections and not as the projector itself. This seems to be talking about the duality of perception and reality. The mirror does not seem to reveal everything that the world shows in the same way. It's making me think of how, everybody's living in the same world, but at the same time, everybody's living in their own unique world because of their own unique perception. None of these perceptions are the absolute truth. They're all just different points of view of the same source consciousness. If we had to divide this by their levels of understanding, so it's like some people define reality purely as what's going on around them, outside of them. And then there's some people who define reality purely as their subjective perception and their inner experience. And then there's also some people who just observe both and understand that neither is the ultimate reality. Neither the projector, so your perception, or the projection, the life around you, neither of those are actually the whole truth. I think that's what This is saying, I'm gonna hold it up for you. And if you wanna like read it again and come up with your own interpretation, feel free to do that. Okay, so a main theme for you in the month of March seems to be how your perception shapes your reality and reflecting on your role as an experiencer of life, but also a creator of your life, but also a neutral observer. This is kind of an abstract message. I think we're gonna keep going with the rest of our cards and see what comes up for you. Wow. We have connecting with your higher self. So that's actually very interesting because there's your human self who is moving through the world and experiencing life in the first person. And then there's also your higher self who is observing everything from a higher perspective. This kind of reminds me of the way I dream, because sometimes when I have dreams, I'm dreaming in first person, and then other times I'm like watching myself from a third person perspective, but both of them feel real and both of them feel like my experience. So maybe in the month of March particularly, you're kind of moving through different layers of your consciousness, and sometimes you're like really here in life in the 3D, and then other times you're zooming out and you're more observing what is unfolding in a detached way. The fact that this is the number 7, it's also making me think of the crown chakra. So I do feel like you're connecting to your higher self in the sense that they're going to be showing you the events that are unfolding in your life from their perspective. You're going to receive a higher perspective about what is happening in your life right now and why it's happening and the different meanings you could give to it. We have Jupiter. Yeah, this is definitely talking about a higher perspective, like a bird's eye view of your life and your consciousness expanding. As you can maybe tell, I'm having a hard time putting into words some of these messages, and maybe that in itself is a message for you. Like you're receiving very big downloads and insights, and it's still a little bit hard to pin them down. It's still a little bit hard to put everything into language. And maybe you don't have to just yet. And maybe the truth isn't even something you say or something that you put in words. It's just something that you feel. It's something that you experience. We have the moon transition. Jupiter and the moon together, this definitely feels like a heightened intuition. It also feels like an expansion of your psychic abilities. I think that your experiences in realms other than the physical realm are going to be very rich and very vivid during the month of March. Your mind could be very active. This month, you could be feeling particularly emotionally sensitive. Like I said, your psychic abilities could be heightened. You could be having very vivid dreams. And okay, I'm hearing like life is but a dream. So maybe like concrete reality might start to feel kind of blurry. You may sometimes feel like the 3D reality and your dreams and visions are kind of melting together, or your inner world and outer world are kind of melting together. But I mean, this could be overwhelming at times, but it actually, the energy of it feels quite pleasant and interesting. You're seeing how vast and how rich your consciousness truly is and connecting to a higher level of your consciousness. And this butterfly is also making me think of evolution. We have the numbers 7 and 13 here. Oh, and then 41, obviously there's no 41st of March, but it could be the 14th if we flip the numbers around. So from the 7th to the 14th, that week could be particularly significant for you. What do I want to do first? Let's roll some dice and see what else we can figure out. Also, can I move this over here so that we can see it better? We have Neptune. We have Gemini. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, Gemini is thoughts, ideas, communication, language, and Neptune makes things blurry and elusive and confusing and hazy. So that definitely fits with the energy that I've been picking up here. Like, it's hard to put things into words. You may be experiencing a little bit of brain fog this month, and Mercury is in retrograde, so that kind of makes sense. If you have a Gemini or Virgo rising, then Mercury is your chart ruler, so you could be feeling this particularly hard. Or if you have like personal planets in Gemini or Virgo, you're just always going to feel those Mercury retrogrades extra strongly. But that's definitely something that is coming through. But then at the same time, you could be creating really cool things or coming up with really cool ideas because the boundaries that are usually present in your mind are not there. You could actually be a lot more experimental with the way you express yourself, with the way you create. Like, if you're an artist, maybe you're making things that are more abstract, more experimental, or you are conveying messages of a certain level of depth where it's like you don't usually go there. Or you could be enjoying more abstract ideas and concepts and theories I'm hearing. There's a feeling of you going outside of the box, or even like the boundaries of the box are becoming more blurry. This could be, I just heard this would be a good month to bend your reality, because your mental boundaries of like what feels possible and what feels realistic are a lot more malleable this month. And this is a gift, believing that more is possible. Jupiter also suggests an open mind, the ability to grow and expand, the ability to excel in something, because you're stepping into something without mental barriers, without biases. You're like, universe, I'm open to you showing me anything. I'm open to you letting me experience anything. I have no judgments of what it's possible for you to show me or what it's possible for me to experience. This is kind of cool. I think that all of this is going to lead to you believing in yourself more and believing in how powerful you are, how powerful your consciousness is, how powerful your perception is, how powerful your intention is. And that every story you tell yourself about how life works is just that. It's just a story. And those stories are becoming more malleable somehow this month. I really hope that this is making sense. Like I said, these are kind of abstract messages, but if this is for you, this is for you. And if it's not, there's 2 other groups that will probably be a bit more normal. But let's keep going. We're gonna pull some tea leaf cards for you. What else do you need to know about the month of March? This just fell on the floor. It says lightning. Control your anger or you will be sorry. Honestly, as soon as I saw lightning, I thought of epiphanies. I thought of brilliant ideas. I thought of I believe there's an expression, lightning in a bottle. What does that mean? Baby, you're like lightning in a bottle. I just looked it up and apparently lightning in a bottle is also a music festival. Okay. The phrase lightning in a bottle means to accomplish something extraordinarily difficult, to achieve rare success. Interesting. I don't know. Don't pay attention too much to the anger message. I mean, if it resonates with you, feel free to claim that. But my first intuition when I saw lightning was like a brilliant idea coming down and lightning in a bottle. Maybe this kind of like making your mental barriers more flexible was kind of like your higher self prepping you to receive a download, to receive an idea. What else can we know for my group number ones? We have shield. You need to defend yourself. There's a feeling of an energy, like this could be another person or a situation in your life that's trying to like poke you or provoke you or trying to rush you. And I heard like, don't give them the satisfaction or don't give them the power. And we have pineapple, reconciliation. I'm also thinking about this protective energy of a shield with anger, because many times when we're experiencing anger, I feel like it comes from a desire or an instinct to protect something that we love. Anger might be an emotion that you're experiencing in some way this month, but the advice here is rather than letting that anger run rampant, ask it what it's trying to protect, what it is that it loves, this part of you loves, that is feeling threatened. And there will be a way, this is not about ignoring or suppressing your anger, but rather to discover its motivations and channel it in a productive way. Because I do feel like you'll need to assert yourself or stand up for yourself in some way. And I'm hearing you will be respected when you do that, or like your wishes will be respected when you do that. If you are in a conflict with someone, if you have conflicting interests with someone, you can't see eye to eye, I feel like the pineapple card is saying that there is an outcome that everyone will be happy with, and there is potential for reconciliation, or at least, if reconciliation is not something you want, at least an outcome that will bring you peace, an outcome that you will be happy with. Reconciliation could also be indicating that inner conflicts can be resolved. Maybe there's two parts of you that have conflicting interests. I've actually been kind of struggling with this lately, like because sometimes I want things from life that seem to be quite contradictory, and I can't see how these two parts of me can be reconciled, or how I can have both, or how they can both be happy. And so if you relate to that, I feel like this pineapple card is saying that even your the aspects of your personality or your desires or your priorities that seem conflicting with each other can be reconciled in some way, and there can be a compromise within yourself. And maybe you just have to open your mind a little bit to see those possibilities. All of the borders becoming blurry, it feels like your higher self or your spiritual team working on you to open your mind. It's as if your mind is a muscle and they're helping to like warm up your muscle so that it can be more flexible and stretchy and like accommodate more insights. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, this concludes the general overview part of your reading. So we're going to go into the specific areas of your life. Letters that could be significant, we have L, S, and P. I also feel like mutable signs are significant for this group. So that's Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So you or someone significant to you could have a strong mutable sign energy. There's also a message coming through about brainstorming about who you want to be in this new era of your life and kind of realizing that you can be anybody. Maybe you're shape-shifting a little bit. Okay, so the card for your love life and relationships is the King of Cups. I try to like put them face down and then reveal them one by one, but that one came out face up. So the King of Cups was excited to see you. Okay, so we have your love life and relationships, career and studies, spiritual and personal growth. You have 2 cards coming out. So I feel like that is a confirmation that there's gonna be an augmented spiritual and personal growth happening this month. And your community and collective. Okay. So now we are going to do the same with oracle cards. We'll get one for each area of your life. Oh, you have 2 for love life and relationships. Career and studies, spiritual and personal growth, and your community and collective. So let's go ahead and reveal your cards. We've already seen the tarot card for your love life and relationships is the King of Cups, but let's reveal your oracle cards. We have quantum entanglement. Okay, this is making me think of a soul bond or a psychic connection, and I did think it was interesting that 2 cards fell out together for your spiritual and personal growth as well as for your love life and relationships. So there could be a particular relationship or connection that is really contributing to your spiritual and personal growth this month, or just relationships in general. You could also be assisting someone close to you with their spiritual and personal growth journey. For those of you who are in a relationship, or you don't actually even have to be in a committed relationship, but if you have like a significant other or a person of interest, I feel like you might be seeing in the month of March that they are becoming more interested in spirituality, and it may be something that they're talking to you more about. You could be talking with a partner or a person of interest about like theories of the universe or about your souls or about past lives or things like that. We also have light curve. Immediately, this is making me think that things are going to get better, or energy is going to get lighter for you in your love life and relationships. Maybe that goes back to this reconciliation energy that was here. Definitely feel free to claim this. Like if you're in a conflict or a no contact situation with someone and you want to reconcile with them, this could also be like a happy reunion you're having with someone whom you haven't seen or spoken to in a long time. But you are definitely maturing emotionally and spiritually, but I'm also getting the sense that someone very important to you is doing the same. And there's this wonderful opportunity to see how much you have both healed. I'm hearing like both separately and together. You and this person, you've done a lot of your healing work separately, but you've also done a lot of it together. You've witnessed each other's healing journey, and it's beautiful to see. Yeah, and I keep getting that message, like someone around you is becoming a lot more interested in spirituality, and maybe this is making you happy. Maybe they're talking to you about it more or asking you questions about it more. It feels like someone you're closely linked to on a soul level, and you kind of move together. Like as you evolve, they evolve. As you heal, they heal. As they progress, you progress. Like your development, it may not happen exactly at the same time, but it's almost like when one of you reaches a milestone in your journey of spiritual and personal growth, the other is not far behind in reaching a milestone. It's like you help kind of pull each other along. I'm even seeing a visual of a 3-legged race. So it's like you do have your legs that are separate in your own individual journey, but then you also have your legs that are like tied together. So you move separately in your journey, but you also move together. And you can't really go in different directions because there's a part of you that is like intrinsically linked. Now, of course, this tying together is not physical. It's happening on a spiritual level. You're free to go wherever you want, but as something happens on your end, something kind of happens on their end too. There's that kind of connection that exists between you and someone else. As I'm talking about this, I am kind of getting the feeling that many of you do already know who this person is and they're like in your life. But even if this is someone you haven't met before, that connection is still there and you're still kind of moving in the same way. So maybe this is showing like the entrance of this person into your life in March if they're not here yet. But I do get the feeling that many of you already at least know of this person, and I do feel like the energy is getting lighter between the two of you. I feel like things can start to move faster and there may be sudden shifts in this relationship. I actually want to pull an extra card to see if we can be nosy about what the shifts are. How could this relationship be shifting? We have the Queen of Wands. Both of you are now in a process of stepping more into your authentic self and also tapping more into your natural gifts and talents. I feel like you're a multi-talented person, but there is a particular gift you have that is just like, it's innate. You have many talents because it's like you're smart, you can learn things quickly, but your guides are kind of showing me there's a difference between that and some gift, like a divine gift that you innately have. And you and this person are starting to embody your natural gifts and talents more and use them more. And this deepens your bond in some way. Like it facilitates you bonding with each other, understanding each other better. It facilitates your energies like melding together or working together. I'm also hearing that. The more you claim the highest version of you and the more you claim your full potential, that brings you and this person closer together. Something else that's coming through is that it's almost like you are intimidated by your own highest version. What does that mean? Like the higher version of you that you want to embody, you're also kind of scared or intimidated by them. Or maybe it's like you're scared or intimidated by the life that they would live, by the responsibilities that the highest version of you would have, by the demands or pressures that they might have on them, by their level of visibility or something like that. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's the end of the messages for there. I just saw 3113, by the way, 3113, which is a mirroring number. Definitely think March 13th could be a significant date, which is a Friday, I think, a Venus day. Anywho, let's look at your cards for your career and studies. We have the Four of Cups, and I heard nothing to report here. So look, whether or not the Four of Cups is positive, I feel like it really depends on the person and what their goals are. If your desire is to just keep maintaining, keep doing what you're doing, keep progressing at the rate you're progressing, then this card will be wonderful because it's showing like there's no sudden changes, there's no drama, it's business as usual. It could also be an advice card of like, don't try to change up your routine too much in the month of March. Like, keep doing what you're doing, keep progressing at the same rate. I would advise against dramatically increasing or decreasing your workload or trying to do things dramatically faster or slower. Feel like a lot of you are just in a good rhythm for your professional goals or academic goals or even your creative goals. And your guides are kind of just saying, keep doing what you're doing. So for those of you who are craving like stability, steady progress, no surprises, no drama, like I just want to cruise this month and keep vibing, this is a great card. For those of you who were hoping for like some drastic change or some breakthrough in your career in March, I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen, but that doesn't look like the likely outcome for most of you who chose this group. Maybe this is your guide saying it's not quite time yet for that. And also, this card can indicate that things are mundane, but that is okay because the key to your success is your ability to keep going when things are mundane. Progressing towards your goals is not always going to be exciting. Sometimes you're not going to feel like it. Sometimes it's going to feel repetitive. Sometimes it's going to be boring. And I feel like the key to your success is your ability to show up consistently. And that means like when you're super motivated and excited, and when today is a day where you have like fun things on your schedule, and show up on the days where it feels boring and dumb and you're not excited about what's on your schedule. Being able to consistently show up through all of that will be the key to your success. And someone who shows, okay, it's better for you to show up consistently than to show up in bursts, I just heard. And also, you don't need to do your best work every single day. And you don't need to be outdoing yourself every single day either. This is a water card. So we do have the number 4, which symbolizes like cycles and order. But with a watery energy, that feels like fluctuations. So this could also be about embracing your fluctuations in like your performance level or your energy levels or your motivation levels. And those going down is not bad. It's just temporary. They'll go down and then they'll come up again and then they'll go down again. And those don't have to be consistent. The only thing that really has to be consistent is just you showing up. And that's enough. Okay, so your oracle card is Parsec. I have no idea what a parsec is. I do have a memory of looking up this card before, I just can't remember. A unit of distance used in astronomy equal to about that's interesting, 3.26 light years. I think that's interesting because 3.26 could be referencing March 26. 326. 1 parsec corresponds to the distance at which the mean radius of the Earth's orbit subtends an angle of 1 second of arc. I'm just gonna pretend that I understood that. I feel like this section of the reading, it's reading as advice. Like your guides are saying, keep doing what you're doing. Focus on routine and consistency rather than the end goal. They're kind of showing me like, if you focus on the end goal, it's going to feel overwhelming and it's going to feel so far away. But if you just focus on what I need to do today, or even like what I need to do this week, or just focus on the routines and the habits, then the end result will take care of itself. The end result will take care of itself. You don't need to be you could check about it and think about it if it feels good to do that, if it's like in a visualization way and getting excited about it way. But those of you who chose this group may feel overwhelmed by a goal you have in your career or academically or creatively. It feels so far away. How am I going to get there? That's like such a different level than where I am now. And you don't need to be thinking about that. You just need to be thinking about where you are right now. And the key to your success will be your ability to be comfortable in your fluctuations and also to tolerate some level of mundaneness and like boringness and repetition. It's not always fun and exciting. Okay. So next, let's look at your cards for spiritual and personal growth. For your tarot cards, we have the 9 of Pentacles. We love to see that. And we have the 9 of Swords. We have 2 number 9s. This is kind of going back to the Queen of Wands because there's a feeling like I want to say you have the whole package. You have the whole package. You have everything it takes to be successful in the way you want to be successful, but you doubt it. And I feel like there's some higher version of you or higher version of your life that it still kind of scares you to embody because you don't see yourself in it, but you are. It almost feels like a skewed perception of yourself that makes you doubt yourself. Like, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. Which, let's be clear, even if you weren't this enough, even if you weren't that enough, that's okay. But you are. It's almost like the criticisms of yourself or the things you wish you had, you already have them. Your criticisms of yourself are not valid. That's not to say you can't critique yourself and improve, but the things you're saying, like you're not good enough or like, it's not true. And this isn't me being flattering or uplifting. It's just the truth. The things you wish you had, like the traits you wish you had, the gifts you wish you had, you already have them. You already are the version of you that you want to be. You just haven't like claimed it yet. So maybe your growth this month is about claiming it and being like, wait, I already am that person. I already am my dream self. I already have everything it takes. I already have everything I need. You're like afraid. I keep wanting to say you're like intimidated by yourself, and that's such a weird, I feel like that's such a weird thing to say. But it's like you have these gifts and you're afraid to use them. You're afraid of wielding your own power. We also have proton. I know what a proton is. Finally, something I understand. A proton is this little baby, the positive charged guy that the electrons orbit around. That would be so funny if I was wrong. But interesting, because I feel like this is saying you have orbit. Like you're attracting, okay, on one hand, this could be a message that you're attracting opportunities and experiences based on your self-concept. But I also think this is something about you being magnetic and like having a gravitational pull, and certain people or things or opportunities orbiting around you. Wait, this is making me really excited. I feel like chills when I'm saying this. This is you. And orbiting around you is everything you want. It's like circling around you. And the second you claim that you already are your dream self, the second you claim that all of the talents and capabilities and traits you want, you already have them, this like collapses. Whatever is like just circling around you, like collapses into you. This is huge for those of you who have been feeling like your dreams and goals are like so close yet so far away. It's because they are so close and they're just like circling around. And a change in your self-concept, like it's like your gravitational pull just gets so much stronger and they collapse into you. That's how it's coming through. Okay, finally, let's look at your cards for your community and collective. I just saw 4433, Emperor and Empress energy, masculine and feminine energy. Perhaps in your community and in the collective that you resonate with, there's a really lovely balance of masculine and feminine energies. I want to say as well, your soul family has a really lovely balance of masculine and feminine. Your community and your soul family could help you balance the masculine and feminine within you, because when you're in the right community, you will feel like both aspects of you are celebrated. Whereas when you're in the wrong community, you may feel like I have to push this side of me to the forefront and pull this one back. Like you might feel like, okay, the masculine side of me is being rewarded, so I'm really going to push that to the forefront, and I'm going to suppress and shun, I want to say, my feminine side. Or it could be vice versa. Like you've been in communities where only one side of you is celebrated, but when you're in the right one, both of them will be uplifted and balanced. You may also, because this is about the collective, right? So maybe you're noticing an emergence in the collective where like, oh gosh, I hope this is true, where feminine and masculine energy is coming back into balance. we have the Page of Swords. I remember there was a very similar message in last month's reading in this section where it's like, in the month of March, you may be feeling more called to join the conversation. You may be feeling more called to speak up in spaces where you were once quiet. Whether that's because in the past you were too afraid to speak up, or you didn't feel safe or supported to speak your mind, and now you are starting to feel safe and supported. Maybe in the past you felt like, I don't know enough to speak up, or my insight isn't valuable enough to speak up, or maybe you were just shy. It could just be that, like, you see this conversation happening and you want to join, but you just feel kind of shy. But whatever the case may be, I feel like in the month of March, you may be becoming more vocal, more like joining the conversation, and I want to say like putting your voice in the mix and realizing that your voice matters. And there could also be more of an honesty and sort of like reality check energy that you're seeing in the collective that is affecting you, especially if you've been experiencing an energy in the collective that is like sweeping things under the rug, or like beating around the bush, not addressing issues head on. If you've been noticing that in the collective, I feel like you might see in March that that's starting to change. People are being more honest with themselves, and people are like more willing to address things and more willing to speak the truth, and also more willing to fight for the truth. You could be finding sources of media and news that you really appreciate because of their honesty and their like fearlessness in sharing the truth. And we also have Photon, which I think is light, and light is like a particle and a wave, and that's why it looks like this. They travel like waves but interact with matter as discrete particles. Photons have no mass and no electrical charge. They always move at the speed of light in a vacuum. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I just went to get the guidebook, because the first phrase on the photon card is time to shine. Luminous or electromagnetic energy that is produced, transmitted, and absorbed. The time has come to celebrate this highly positive process, which is responsible for navigating obstacles in a natural way. It is the ideal state of any process or manifestation. Ideal refers to the idea that one has when they put their energy into something. The greatest desire is the idea happens, can be transmitted, and is then absorbed by the other person in question. In this case, the steps manifest themselves perfectly, added to a speed of propagation that exceeds the desires of one who created it, since due to its enormous energy, the photon propagates at the speed of light. Photons move in exact directions, but they are only found in places where there are electric and magnetic forces generated by charges. Derives from the Greek word for light, portal, gratitude. Ooh, so this is definitely giving the feeling of you manifesting collectively, manifesting with the collective, and realizing that the more you share your ideas and the more you speak your desires, the more power they have. It's as if you, with your desires and with your ideas, are a candle, and as you tell more people about it, you are lighting their candle with your flame. The more people you share with, the more people believe in your vision, the more manifesting power you have. We're more powerful when we manifest together, and this could be with regards to like a personal wish or vision you have, or a wish or vision you have for the world. But I think your guides really want you to know that you are not manifesting alone. And the key to harnessing more manifesting power is through speaking, is through sharing, is through expressing. I just heard through opinionating, and I don't even know if that's a word. Through sharing your opinion. Okay, group ones. So those are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my Instagram, my memberships where you can watch the extended readings that go up every month. You can also watch exclusive full-length pick a card readings that are for the members. And I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to everyone who appeared in this reading, your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number twos. So if you guys chose the key and this oracle card, this is going to be your reading all about your month of March 2026. I did just want to mention that when I was filming the intro and holding up the key and the card, the camera timer went to 222. So I made a note of that to tell you, and you are also group 2. So repeating twos could be a significant sign for you. Anyway, the first thing we have to do is figure out what this card is and what it's trying to tell you. So I'm going to look at it in the guidebook. It is card number 35, and it's on page 77 of the guidebook, and it's called Hidden Codes. I'll hold it up so you can look at it while I'm talking about it. Every time you use your instinct, you advance 2 squares and you understand the reason for things. Every time you fall into the temptation to listen to inappropriate voices, you hinder the experience. You stop the flow and pay a toll. Are you ready to go in search of the hidden codes? As the word explains, they are hidden, but they also carry a code, to which it refers. The code is a secret combination in communication. The theory of communication known as a code, the set of signs that must be shared by the sender and the receiver of a message so that it is understood. The sender is ready. The receiver is you. The truth is not hidden, it is disguised, to be seen only by those who have prepared to do so. This is not an elitization of the truth. It is a natural consequence of the work of those who conquer themselves. The blue-violet frequency. Okay, the universe is talking to you. Or some being is talking to you, a guide, someone on the other side, a spirit, someone's higher self is talking to you in a code that is for you to understand. The truth is not hidden, it is disguised. You're ready to see the truth. And it's so interesting that you were drawn to a key, because I feel like the key represents knowledge. Not too long ago, I was doing, I think it was actually a reading for Patreon, but one of the oracle cards had an image on it of a being who looked like a spirit guide. And then they were opening their mouth, and out of their mouth came this ray of light and a key. So someone's communicating a key to you. Someone's communicating the answer, the solution, but it's coming in a code. Maybe the answer is coming to you in a symbolic way, or in an abstract way, or telepathically. You will receive the answers you seek, but it won't be so literal and right in front of your face. It will involve some decoding. It's also interesting that this card is number 35, because these numbers together, when I see 3 and 5 together, I do think about like 3D and 5D. So an answer is coming to you from a higher dimension, or a communication is coming to you from a higher dimension. Every time you use your instinct, you understand the reason for things. Every time you listen to inappropriate voices, you hinder the experience. You advance when you trust your inner knowing. You advance when you trust your intuition. I'm also hearing that the message cannot be intercepted. The receiver is you. You're receiving some kind of download or telepathic communication. Okay, so let's look at these oracle cards to see your main themes and energies for the month of March. We have the number 33 with surrender. We have Pisces, intimacy, intuition, and compassion. And we have Palace with the keyword trust. I'm noticing all of these numbers are similar, like 31, 33, 35. These could be ages. They could also be dates, like March 1st, March 3rd, March 5th. Maybe those first few days of the month are going to be significant for my group number 2s. We have an eclipse on the 3rd, so that would make sense if the first few days of the month are significant for you. On March 3rd, we will have an eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So if you're familiar with your birth chart and you know like what house that's happening in, it would definitely be interesting to see if you notice changes in that area of your life around the time of the eclipse. I definitely see you in a receptive energy during this month. This is a time for you to receive messages, to receive answers, to receive communication, to receive blessings. Okay, I heard too, this is not so much of a month where you're being called to act outwardly and expend your energy. This is a month of things coming to you. And we have the words surrender and trust. I said this for group number 1 as well, and I wonder if this is going to be kind of a recurring theme in the collective, but you may notice that during the month of March, your psychic gifts are heightened or your intuition is heightened. And maybe this is because most of the month of March we will be in Pisces season. So when the sun is in Pisces, this is kind of a theme for all of us: heightened intuition, heightened spirituality, having more psychic experiences. It does seem like you're going to be receiving quite a bit of telepathic communication from your guides or from your higher self or from someone else's higher self. Okay, I just looked up Palace because it's an asteroid, and in fact, you may want to see where that is as well in your birth chart, like what sign and what house it's in. But I'm glad that I looked it up because I'm not super familiar with all of the asteroids and what they mean, but 2 things that are definitely jumping out at me here are problem solving and pattern recognition abilities. Those are things that are associated with this asteroid. So the theme for you this month is like the universe is speaking to you, and do you know how to listen to it? And the answer is yes, you do. But I feel like it's a very personal experience. The universe may be communicating things to you that you don't feel called to share with anyone, or that maybe you don't feel comfortable to share with others. And honestly, probably even if you tried to share with others, they wouldn't understand it because the message was specifically crafted for you. You may be receiving messages from the universe before you're ready to know what they mean, and so you just kind of need to hold on to them. Alternatively, the month of March may be revealing the meaning of a message you received a long time ago. Maybe you saw something in a meditation months ago, and now you're finally understanding what it is that you saw. Maybe you had a really powerful dream, like it could even be a year ago, I don't know, a long time ago. And you just kind of had to hold it inside of you, like hold that emotion inside of you until you were ready to understand its meaning. The universe is speaking to you, and you have your own unique way of listening to it, and you have your own unique way of communicating with it. And it's really important that you embrace your language that you speak with the universe. And it's going to be different than other people's. Beware of, I mean, it can be good to listen to others for confirmation, but what I'm seeing here is like, be wary about just accepting other people's definitions of like, oh, if you're seeing this sign, it means XYZ. If you're having this experience, it means XYZ. Because in fact, only you can know what the universe is trying to tell you. So I feel like this is a month of strengthening your unique way of communicating with spirit. You may have a form of divination even that is kind of weird and unconventional. It's not really one that most people use or that most people understand, but it works for you. And it's okay to use methods of communicating with spirit that are unconventional or that are not understood by others. If the message gets through, it gets through. Maybe there's something here about kind of releasing shame of how you connect to your spirituality or how you connect to spirit, because there's no wrong way to do it. Okay, let's get some tea leaf cards. What else should my group number 2s know about the month of March? We have Quill, get back to the basics. The quill is making me think of writing as well. You could be automatic writing or journaling this month. Yeah, I feel like you're being encouraged to write. And this could even be like writing a book, whether that's fiction or nonfiction, writing an essay, writing a research paper, writing a song, writing poetry. Your higher self wants you to write. And the more you write, the more answers will come to you. I do feel that there's power in something being handwritten. Maybe you're sending someone a handwritten communication, or someone's giving you a handwritten letter. Ooh, okay, we have a lot of cards that just fell out, but I'm going to take all of them. And let's see what Spirit wants you to know during the month of March. We have boat, money or property through an inheritance, winning or windfall. Desk, pay attention to your work. Some of you could be a writer as your job, because this desk has those same quills on it. We have bridge, successfully overcoming a problem. We were just talking about problem solving with the palace energy. Maybe you're overcoming a problem in your work. Cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. Beautiful. And firecracker, excitement. I'm not gonna lie, group 2, I was a bit nervous when I saw all of these cards coming out, because if you're familiar with this deck, I would say it's pretty 50-50 between like positive messages and negative messages. So the fact that you have 6 of these and they're all like positive or at least neutral, that's pretty impressive. And I feel like that's a strong sign from the universe that you really are protected from negative outcomes and protected from dangers during the month of March. And we were talking about you being in a receptive energy. You are receiving this month, and yeah, it's like you're reaping what you've sown, and you are reaping good things that make you excited. I feel like there's some problem that had been a huge hassle for you, And now that that problem is finally solved, you're excited because you don't have to think about it anymore, and you don't have to give your time and energy to it anymore. You can focus on other things. Career may be a main focus for you this month, and we're definitely going to get into that when we look at the specific areas of your life. Someone's looking out for you, group 2. Like, you have some higher being or loved one on the other side who's looking out for you, because you're protected from things that are beyond your control. Things that you couldn't solve on your own. You have some kind of cosmic help. Maybe there's divine orchestration that's helping you solve a problem, or divine intervention, I think is what I wanted to say. Or you have a higher being who's kind of whispering the answers to you and giving you solutions. Money or property through an inheritance, winning, or windfall. I love it. Okay, so letters that could be significant. We have B, C, D, F, and Q. Oh, and I also wanted to roll some dice. I forgot to do that. So let's see. We have Mercury. We have Libra. This is making me think of negotiations going well. You're coming to a positive agreement with another party. Maybe this is at work. Maybe a contract is being signed and everyone's happy with the contract. A problem or a conflict is being solved while still maintaining like peace and being diplomatic. Yeah, like some negotiations or some deal is going well and you're getting your desired outcome. And then we also have the 12th house, which intuitively this feels like something's going smoothly. Something's working in your favor, and then this takes a huge load off of your mind. I also just heard some back and forth is ending. That would make sense with negotiations, because there's a lot of back and forth in negotiations, or like with contracts where you're like, no, I'm not signing this yet. Please change this, this, and this in the contract. Or yeah, like it's like you're coming to a deal with another party and it was a hassle. There was back and forth. Maybe they would come back and say like, no, I need more documents from you. I need more information. I need more this. I need more that. And it's like, oh, another thing. Like I'm imagining someone checking their email and they're like, oh my gosh, they came back again with like another thing I need to do, or another request, or another question. And then after this back and forth, finally an agreement is reached. Finally, something works in your favor. And a huge weight is lifted for you. Beautiful. Okay. I like this energy, group 2. So let's get into the specific areas of your life. I chose a kind of abstract oracle deck today, so we may have to peek at the guidebook a few times, but we're gonna do our best. We're gonna pull one tarot card and one oracle card each, or more if more want to come out, for your love life and relationships. Career and studies. Spiritual and personal growth. And your community and collective. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing with our oracle cards. Love life and relationships. Okay, this one came out face up. It says flight. Maybe someone's taking a flight to see you, or you're taking a flight to see someone. career and studies, spiritual and personal growth, and the community and the collective. So let's get into it. We're going to start with your love life and relationships. We've already seen flight, which we could be taking literally. Like I just said, like you could be getting on a flight to go meet someone, or they're getting on a flight to meet you. Also, this looks like blast off. It looks like something's finally moving, something's finally ascending. So this could be a month where you see significant progress and fast progress within a particular relationship or partnership. And we also have the Nine of Cups, and this is something that you have been wanting for quite some time. Aw. Okay, so those are the two interpretations I'm seeing, and honestly, feel free to claim both if both resonate with you. But there's a feeling of you're traveling to go see someone, or someone's traveling to come see you. And it's someone like you've missed and someone you've wanted to see. For some of you, it could be that your wish, like seeing the person itself, that was the wish, or you're going to see someone who can help you make a wish come true. That's another way that I could interpret it. But then I also think for others of you, this flight is more metaphorical. When I look at this rocket ship taking off, it's like, okay, finally we're getting somewhere. So maybe there was a certain relationship, a certain connection in your life where it was like you really wanted to get closer with them and you really wanted the relationship to progress, but it just wasn't. Like things were stagnant, things were moving very slowly. And now things are finally picking up. But the Nine of Cups has a feeling like this was your desired outcome. This is something that you've wanted for a long time. When I see Nine of Cups in the context of relationships, it does make me think of a crush sometimes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, just someone that you want in your life. You have wishes pertaining to them. You know, I wish I knew you better. I wish we could see each other more often. I wish we lived closer. You know, any relationship that you have wishes about, like it would make you so happy if the relationship were this way, or if you could just be closer to this person. That's the relationship that I'm seeing here. And then, yeah, like if you do have a crush, I just saw 2222, which is so funny considering what I'm talking about right now. And also I saw 222 earlier in the intro, and you are group 2. That is probably a very strong sign of mutual feelings, which means whatever wishes and desires you've had about this relationship, the other person has them too. So I feel like this progress is something that you've both wanted, which leads me to believe that whatever was hindering your progress with this person and hindering you being more in each other's lives and hindering you being closer together, it was kind of something out of your control. And I guess whatever protected from negative forces beyond your control, whatever factors out of your control were hindering the fulfillment of your wishes are being, I don't know, the firecracker exploding just feels like something being aggressively cleared away. So maybe there's like blockages that are just very suddenly disappearing. And that's probably why the relationship is progressing quickly. It's like once the blockages are gone, it's full speed ahead because you both want the same things. This, if you resonated with that, like taking a flight, like that literal interpretation, I could definitely see this energy being applied to a long distance relationship, because that physical distance is out of your control. But then once you're actually physically together, the relationship progresses fast because it's like we both want the same things. Or maybe someone's schedule was just really crazy and it's like if only we were more free, we would totally see each other more often. So yeah, it was definitely not a matter of the feelings or the desires not being there. And how fast the relationship will progress now is proof of that. Because it's like you're doing together what you've wanted to do for so long, and you're like eager, so it's moving quickly. Oh, that's so lovely. Okay, so let's look at your cards for career and studies. For your career, we have the 8 of Swords. And for your oracle card, we have Ultraviolet. Okay, writing is coming back again. What are we doing? What are we doing, group 2s? Are you writers? Or do you have to write something for work or for school? I'm seeing a very specific scenario of someone sitting down to write something, and they're like sitting in front of a computer. They're just like sitting there and zoning out, and nothing's coming to them. Like 30 minutes later, they've written 2 sentences. But then they're like, nah, these sentences suck, and they delete it. And it's like, it feels like blocked and nothing's coming out. And then one random day, they're like walking their dog or in the shower or like doing something else. And they're like, oh my gosh, and run to the computer and then it just like all comes out at once. It's like how much you flow when you're just, yes, oh my gosh, that's literally what this whole reading is talking about. Because in March, you are the receiver. That's what your card said. Like, it was something like the message is ready and the receiver is you. You just have to be ready to receive it. So I'm being shown the contrast between kind of like forcing yourself to sit down and write something, or forcing yourself to sit down and produce something, and it's just like not working. And that's because you're trying to exert yourself to push out a message rather than just receiving a message, and that's effortless. So that's definitely a message for my creatives or any of you who need to write or produce or make something this month. But also, this could be for motivation. Like studying, for example. Maybe you keep sitting down, you're like, I have to study. And every time you like purposely try to sit down and study, it's like nothing's entering your head. But then one random Thursday at like 2 a.m., you're suddenly like, I'm gonna study this whole textbook. I'm gonna study this whole chunk of notes. And it just like absorbs into your head flawlessly because you waited to receive the inspiration. So I would say the advice for you in your career, studies, and creativity is like, don't force it. This may be a month where schedules don't really work or where like the divine doesn't really care about your schedule, and don't force things to come out because you'll receive them when the time is right. And ultraviolet here is definitely making me think that you are a really powerful channel this month. You're going to be channeling, whether it's, whether you're doing something that's more artistic and creative or something that's more like academic, technical, scientific, whatever it is. I think you're channeling some writing that you're like, I don't even know where this came from. Yeah, that's super cool. Your energy is so cool, group 2. Okay, so let's look at your spiritual and personal growth. Your tarot card is the Devil. Okay, we're tackling some limiting beliefs. And we have Stratosphere. I think this one I'm gonna read from the guidebook. But that image is interesting. It looks like a balancing act. It looks like a seesaw. Okay, yeah, stratosphere is on page 98. Perfect balance, certainty and protection. Support, guidance, shelter, perseverance, and harmony. Okay, right away, and I actually just got hit with a wave of emotion. Like, I really feel for you. I am thinking about the devil's association with the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn, like the archetype of Capricorn is responsible, likes to take responsibility, likes to take accountability. And I'm just thinking back to that message of protected from negative forces beyond your control. And I feel like there's either a part of you that's been struggling to trust that there's higher beings protecting you and that are working in your favor and that can help you. Maybe you struggle to believe that, or you struggle to ask for their help because there's some part of you that believes like you should be able to take care of it on your own, and that you're responsible for every problem in your life. Now, I do think it's wonderful to have this belief of like, I'm in charge of my happiness, and like there are things that I can control, and I should, you know, if I can take action to change something I don't like, or if I can take action to make my life better, then I should. Like, I think that's wonderful, but it almost feels like my group number twos, you feel this pressure of like, if there's something in my life that I don't like or something that's going wrong, it's almost like by default, it's on me to fix it. Like the burden is on me to fix it. And maybe there's, I don't know if it's like a fear of the concept that some things are out of your control, or if it somehow feels like you're failing to assume responsibility if you just say like, oh, that's out of my control. This is not like the typical, I need to control the outcome that I sometimes see in readings. It's more of like, I feel responsible to control the outcome. I think the growth that we see here is the realization that there are certain things out of your control, but that is okay, because for every problem or every negative energy that you don't like, but that you can't solve on your own, like that's what your team is here for. And that could be like your support system here on earth, but I also think this is talking about your spiritual team. I don't think I finished reading this passage, so let's get back to that. The stratosphere fulfills the role of protector for all forms of life on planet Earth. At its highest point, you can find the ozone layer, which is responsible for absorbing the sun's ultraviolet rays. Strata means layer. It is a space of perfect dynamic balance and constant temperature where you will find no storms or turbulence. Enjoy the ease, peace, and protection that it brings you. Life as we know it would not be possible without it. As I was reading that, I was just kind of noticing the connection between this energy and the energy in your career and studies. I feel like if you struggle to sometimes just like wait to receive, that may also, it's not coming from impatience. It's not coming from like being too attached. It's coming from a sense of responsibility. You know, like I have to write this thing for work and I am responsible for coming up with every idea and every word. Your spiritual team's like, no, just wait. Like, we'll help you. We'll help you ride the wave when it comes. Being in a receiving energy, I think maybe somewhere in your subconscious or maybe in your conscious mind, there's some part that associates receiving with dropping a responsibility. Like, I was responsible to produce this thing. but I will forego my responsibility, and instead of producing it myself, I will receive it. But it's not always your responsibility. Sometimes you are the receiver, and everybody is both throughout their life. You can't only be the giver and you can't only be the receiver. And this is the month of you getting comfortable with receiving. Particularly receiving solutions, receiving answers, and receiving assistance to produce work or assistance to produce ideas. Okay, and finally, let's look at your cards for the community and the collective. We have the Two of Wands. The intuitive feeling that I got right away with this card is that this month, like in the community around you, you're going to be surrounded by some really cool and badass people. And this could also be that you are learning about a really cool and badass person, even if you don't know them personally. Maybe there's like a public figure that you're learning about, or just an everyday citizen who you see on the news and they did something really badass and you feel really inspired by them. Or I don't know if I already said this, but a historical figure whom you're learning about, whether they're living right now or not, they're like, man, like that person is so cool. Maybe someone or a group of people who you kind of aspire to. And this is showing you, it's not just about that individual or those people, but they're kind of reminding you how badass and how powerful humanity can be when they dare to be assertive, and when they dare to be a little bit bold, and when they dare to go for it. I feel like you're going to witness someone who you find really cool and who inspires you to take a certain action in your life. And we also have surface. I'm hearing you're just scratching the surface. You're just scratching the surface. Do I want to read the guidebook? You know what? I liked the guidebook for the last one, so let's read it again. And what page is that one on? It's on page 100. Going deeper. The outer extremity of bodies which limits and separates everything that surrounds it. External appearance without depth of understanding. Oh, you might be seeing a side of someone that you didn't know was there before, and kind of realizing that you or society had judged a book by its cover. Okay, that's making me think more like, it could be a public-facing person, or like someone who belongs to a group of people who's often like stereotyped, or people have a very like surface level understanding of them. And then you're seeing this other side of them, or this deeper side of them that is really like powerful and inspirational. I keep wanting to use the word badass, which is so funny because I feel like I hardly ever use that word like in real life. But there's maybe something really prominent in your mind when it comes to the community and the collective this month, is like how we make such quick judgments about each other, or how we judge each other based on surface level things. And that in fact, like, everyone is powerful and everyone has something that we can look up to. And there's this feeling of like, I'd never seen the side of this person before. I didn't know that about this person. Maybe there's like a public figure or a historical figure whose story is very watered down. Like, you hear just very like tame surface level things about them. But then if you actually read about their story, you're like, damn, this person's cool as hell. And maybe you even like relate to them and identify with them. And it's just this moment of like, wow, I really cannot judge books by their cover, or I really cannot judge people based on like the surface level things that I've heard. And it's like, you know, we all know this, like every person, every person has such a rich and vast life and story and is just like us, but there's sort of like a rediscovery and a revisiting of that truth through the new things you're learning about someone who's like really, really inspirational to you. I hope that makes sense. And if not, maybe as you move through the month of March and it plays out, it will make sense. But anyway, those are all the messages for my group twos. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my Instagram, my memberships, where you can watch the extended readings that go up every month. And you can also watch exclusive full-length pick a card readings for the members. And I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, to everyone who appeared in this reading, their higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number threes. So if you guys chose the bismuth and this oracle card, this is going to be your reading all about your month of March 2026. I wanted to mention that it's been a while since I've used bismuth in a reading. It's actually super cool, but I looked it up and the atomic number of bismuth is 83. So that number could be significant to someone, or 38. Maybe like March 8th is a significant date. But if you feel called to, look up pictures of bismuth, because it just looks really freaking cool and it's so pretty and like rainbow colored. I think you can't really see it on camera. Well, a little bit, but the rainbow hues are just so pretty. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do is find out what this oracle card is and what it's trying to tell you. So I'm going to find it in the guidebook. It's card number 4. It's on page 15 of the guidebook and it's called Learnings. So I'm gonna hold it up while I read the passage. I also just saw 111 as I'm holding up this card. Learnings. A snake and 11 angels are entering your quantum field. What you have to learn from them and what they can teach you will be just a matter of questioning yourself. How open are you to receive their teachings? It will take some time for you to sit still and meditate on this. There are different types of beings trying to communicate with you, and they carry different types of energy. They want to help you, but also awaken your kundalini. They want to talk to you, but also they are asking you to talk to somebody else. It seems like some inner work is required here. And then there's some keywords: awareness, astral journey, different types of beings, and communication. That's such an interesting and specific message. A couple things on my mind right now. I think it's very interesting that I saw 111 right before I started to read the guidebook, and then this guidebook talks about 11 angels coming to see you, and I just saw 222. So if you're seeing angel numbers, it's probably quite literally angels sending you a message. And with the snake here, there's no right or wrong answer to what the snake represents. So if something did come to your mind when I was talking about the snake, then, you know, like what it symbolizes for you could be significant. Personally, what came to my mind was that last year was the year of the snake, 2025. So you could be reflecting over something specific that happened last year, or just reflecting over last year as a whole, or maybe these angels are coming in to offer you an insight about your past. I also think about the symbolism of a snake shedding its skin. So maybe you are receiving some insights about what you are ready to shed, what you are ready to let go of, a version of you whom you no longer identify with. And then I also thought this was interesting. They want to talk to you, but also they are asking you to talk to somebody else. Like, that's a very specific message. They're asking you to talk to somebody else. So maybe there's a conversation that you need to have with someone, or you need to tell someone how you feel. And if you do choose to do that, you will be protected by these angels as you do so, and they'll make sure that everything goes smoothly. You may be afraid of how someone will react to what you say, or just afraid of being vulnerable. All right, so let's take a look at these oracle cards, and we're going to see the main themes and main energies of your month ahead. We are starting off with, so this is card number 34, and this says something like, stillness is also a gift. So maybe some of you have been feeling stuck or stagnant, or the energy in March is going to be particularly still for you. But you're being asked to see the gift in this, because stillness is a time for recovery, restoring your energy, like rest. It's a time for reflection. And it's also a time for receiving, like receiving messages, receiving insights. Did you notice that every word I just said right now starts with an R? It's like, what did I say? Restoring, reflecting, resting, receiving. I don't know. I said a bunch of things, but they all started with R. So maybe that's a significant letter. Maybe there's a person you need to talk to whose like name starts with R, or maybe that's you. But, oh, and R is the 18th letter of the alphabet, I want to say. So 18 could also be a significant number. Anyway, you're being asked to find a gift in the stillness. I feel like this month you don't have to swim, you just have to float. And stop fighting, I'm hearing. Like there's okay, this stillness could actually be about you, because I just wanted to say don't fight the current. And current implies that something is moving, but you just need to learn how to be still and float and be carried by the current. A similar message was coming up in group 2 about this is not a month to be exerting a lot of your energy, and this is more a month of receiving and allowing for you it's like allowing yourself to be carried by the current. So like one example of this energy would be like, if there's an important conversation that you need to have with someone, you don't need to purposely be like, okay, I'm gonna message them on this day. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. You can just kind of coast, vibe, and then trust that the opportunity, like the perfect opportunity to have that conversation will present itself. So maybe rather than texting this person and saying like, hey, we need to talk, are you free at this time? You're just kind of going about your life, and then one day you end up alone with this person and the conversation is kind of going in the direction of what you want to talk to them about. So it's kind of like trusting that life will provide you with a natural opportunity to do what you want to do, rather than you feeling like I have to create all the opportunities myself to do what I want to do, or to receive what I want to receive. The universe is like, we got you. The angels are like, we got you. It's okay. We know what you want to do. And we can kind of see your month ahead, and we've pinpointed like the perfect and most natural and organic time for you to do this. So there's no rush, just let yourself be carried. Okay, we have Saturn. Owls could be significant. The owl's kind of hiding. He's like blending into the background. Feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard work and patience. There's going to be a blessing in disguise that's being revealed to you with regards to a certain venture that you've been blocked in. Like a goal you've been wanting to move towards, or like a venture or a project you've been wanting to get off the ground, or you've been wanting to develop, and you've been blocked by the circumstances or blocked by another person or other people. There's going to be a blessing in disguise with that. And it may have to do with the timing. So let's say you wanted to move forward with a venture and it gets postponed by some weeks or months. Or maybe like this is a past thing. Something got postponed until now, March. And there's something about the timing where once you are finally able to move forward, you're like, wow, it's actually so much better that I'm doing this now. This was a much better timing to do it, because if I had done it before, like these other things wouldn't have lined up, or it wouldn't have led me to this connection or to this opportunity. Or like the collective wasn't in the right place to receive it yet, but this timing is much better. So there's an element of trusting in divine timing here as well. Some of you could have Saturn in the 3rd or 4th house in your natal chart, or you could be a Capricorn rising or an Aquarius rising. And then like you could have Saturn passing through your 3rd or 4th house right now, just because I see the numbers like 3, 4, and 4 here again. Or you could have Capricorn or Aquarius on your like 3rd and 4th house cusps. Anyway, you don't have to, but that could be confirmation for someone. And then we also have universal chakra with peach selenite. I feel like I used to have, maybe it's in Canada that I have it. I have some kind of orangey selenite and it's really nice. Selenite's one of my favorites. And we have, did I already say insight? We have the keyword insight. We have the number 19. 18th or 19th of March could be significant. And actually, I'm looking at my little cheat sheet and that's when the new moon is going to be. There's a new moon in Pisces on the 18th or 19th of March, maybe depending like where you are in the world. It's happening at 28 degrees of Pisces, for those of you who wanted to know. But this is so cool. Like there's like these light beings, like can you see them in this card? And I just saw 1122, these light beings who are gathering around to give you insights. There's also been a common theme throughout all of the groups today about like psychic abilities heightening or receiving downloads. So I think we're all kind of experiencing like the veil is thinner between the physical realm and the soul world. Universal chakra is part of, like there's some chakra systems that have more than 7 chakras, and I believe the universal chakra is like above your head, like even higher than the crown chakra. And it's said to connect you to your universal consciousness. Let's roll some dice for you. That was so cool. The die like rolled along my arm and fell onto the table. It's the sign of Cancer. Yeah, Cancer or 4th house energy could be significant. Something about your home, your living situation, family. We have the number 10, the 10th house, and we have Pluto. Okay, I was gonna say shifting of your priorities, but I think it's actually more that your life is shifting to match the priorities that you've always had. For some of you, these blockages that you've been experiencing in your life made it so that you couldn't prioritize the things that you wanted to prioritize. If your life were organized in a different way, there's like something or someone that you would prioritize in a heartbeat, but it's like there was blockages around it. You weren't allowed to prioritize it, or you had a responsibility to prioritize something else. What you prioritized in life through like where you poured your work and efforts and what you took action towards, it's like that didn't match what was in your heart. But it's coming through like you had no choice almost, or like it at least life was making it very difficult to prioritize what was actually in your heart. Especially when it came to like maybe the type of career you were investing in, or maybe you were kind of forced to prioritize work and your career when you didn't want to, or you wanted to be doing something different. And that's changing. So Pluto's coming to transform something, to make what you do out in the world, so like for work or like how you show up in the world, that's going to be more aligned with what's actually in your heart. And I feel like it hasn't been that way, but it's not for a lack of you wanting to prioritize what's in your heart. Something was blocking you from doing that. And that's not going to be the case anymore. And there's something about you being able to spend more time at home and spend more time with family. But what home and family means to you is going to be different for everyone. Like for some of you, that could be literal. Like, okay, I'm going to spend more time at my house and be with my family who is also in my house. Or maybe for some of you, this is like, I can travel back to my hometown. I can travel back to my home country and see my family, which I wasn't able to do for so long. But for others of you, it could be more like, in a symbolic sense, the place where you feel most at home, or the activity that makes you feel most at home, the people who are your chosen family. It could be more symbolic like that as well. So let's get some tea leaf cards. Look at this. We have ladder, climbing towards success. Anything it takes to climb the ladder of success. Ooh, okay. You could be, a sibling could be significant, because I was just singing Bop to the Top, and that's like Sharpay and Ryan, is that his name? And they're siblings. So, I don't know, I just thought of siblings. We have gavel, involvement with the law. This is probably just for a few of you, but climbing towards success and involvement with the law, like maybe this is like for one person. Someone could be getting into law school or graduating from law school, or succeeding in a career related to legal things. If you are going through some kind of legal issues or legal process, this would be a sign that things are going to work out in your favor. It may also be a good idea to consult with a lawyer if you're doing something like building a business. And we also have sun, happiness and well-being. Now I'm thinking of climb a ladder up to the sun. And I think those two songs, what is that song called? It's by Coldplay. Take a picture of something to see. I think they're both in the same key. I think they're both in the key of G. The key of G is associated with the throat chakra. Interesting. Climb a ladder up to the sun. Oh, talk, of course. Let's talk. Let's talk. Yeah. When I was a kid, I heard that song and I thought it was funny, and I like pretended that, like, I think I like drew a picture of myself climbing a ladder up to the sun, and then it burned off my eyebrows. Kids are weird. Anyway, the letters here, S, G, L, they could be significant. It could be someone's initials. We were also saying that R could be significant. I'm thinking of girls, like, because there's GRLS. Anyway, so that concludes the general overview part of your reading. So now we're gonna get into the specific areas of your life. Wait, I want to look up this song. Like, it's in my head. Maybe we need to see the lyrics. Whoa. I was just thinking back to the guidebook that was saying you need to talk to someone. And this says, oh brother, I can't get through. And we're talking about siblings too. And this could be like a sibling, like a human sibling, or like a soul sibling, you know, like a soul family member. Oh brother, I can't get through. I've been trying hard to reach you because I don't know what to do. Oh brother, I can't believe it's true. I'm so scared about the future and I want to talk to you. Oh, I want to talk to you. You can take a picture of something you see. In the future, where will I be? You can climb a ladder up to the sun, or write a song nobody has sung, or do something that's never been done. Are you lost or incomplete? Do you feel like a puzzle? You can't find your missing piece? Tell me, how do you feel? Well, I feel like they're talking in a language I don't speak, and they're talking it to me. So you don't know where you're going and you want to talk, and you feel like you're going where you've been before. You tell anyone who'll listen, but you feel ignored. Nothing's really making any sense at all. Let's talk. Wow, maybe you need to talk to someone about your feelings of uneasiness, your feelings of uncertainty. Talk about the future. I felt quite emotional reading those lyrics. I think I'm gonna link this song. It's a really pretty song. I also think it's really sweet how it kind of looks like the owl is watching over the duck. Like, I don't know, maybe this is like a higher being who you can't really see them so well. They kind of blend into the background, but they're everywhere and they're watching you swimming along. Okay, so let's pull some cards for the specific areas of your life. So this will be for love, life, and relationships. I just saw 2222. That's so funny. I saw 2222 in group 2's love reading as well. We have 2 cards for your career and studies, your spiritual and personal growth, and your community and the collective. Okay, and then we'll do the same with oracle cards. love life and relationships. Career and studies. Spiritual and personal growth. And the community and the collective. 2 cards came out at the same time. Okay, I need to drink water because I feel a little tickle in my throat. And let's get started. So these are the cards for your love life and relationships. We have the Queen of Wands. Right away, I'm getting the feeling that someone is approaching you boldly. And this does feel like a pleasant experience. So if you have someone you're like crushing on or interested in, this would be a sign that they're becoming more bold and more assertive and more forward about their feelings for you. If you don't have a specific person, but you are open to love, then you're probably attracting someone who is not afraid to say how they feel. And like, they're definitely not shy. And it would be the type of person that you don't have to second guess their intentions because they've made it very clear to you. I do feel fast movement, but it's not like an energy of rushing. It's more just an energy of certainty. Things are moving fast because we're certain and because we're not playing games and we're not beating around the bush. And maybe it's not even that things are moving fast per se, but just that they're not being dragged out. We're not stalling, we're not dragging our feet, we're not flip-flopping. Like, we're just being very upfront about our feelings and intentions. So if you are like manifesting someone new into your love life, I feel like it's going to be someone who's very just like upfront and honest and clear with you. And I'm hearing like it's such a breath of fresh air. And I'm also hearing someone who's not afraid to say what they want. So like, you know, you'll ask someone like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And they're just like, oh, I'm okay with anything. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it makes the conversation drag out. And I feel like you're finding someone or you're manifesting someone who will just say like, let's go here, let's do this. So like, they're okay with taking the lead and saying like, I want to do this. And this is, oh, I love this energy. They're not afraid of showing their excitement. And I feel like in a society that loves to be nonchalant and loves to be unbothered by everything, and doesn't want to show that they care and doesn't want to try because that's cringe, this person will be a breath of fresh air. If they're excited to see you, they're gonna let it show. If they miss you, they're gonna let it show. They're not putting up this front of like, oh, like, I don't care, I'm fine with anything, you know? And in the same way, like, I don't know, if you did something that bothered them at one point, they're gonna tell you. And so you don't have to worry about guessing like, oh my gosh, did I upset them? Am I bothering them? Like, it's just so, it makes things very easy, like the level of openness that you can have with this person. So, and you know, I could see this dynamic playing out in a non-romantic connection as well. Maybe you're manifesting friends like this and it's a breath of fresh air because you're not constantly feeling like you need to read between the lines and read their mind and worry about what are they really thinking though. They're just so authentic and like an open book with you. And I feel like your relationship blossoms quickly because of that. And it's very efficient for your social battery, I'm hearing. Because you don't have to worry about like, are they thinking this? Are they thinking that? Because they'll tell you, you know? That's awesome. Okay, let's keep going. So your oracle card is Selective Shield, and right away I'm thinking about boundaries with this. Interestingly, the Queen of Wands has Aries energy, and I was just thinking today, like, I have a couple of friends who have Saturn in Aries, and like Saturn represents our boundaries, or like how, you know, how we have boundaries with us and the world around us and that kind of thing. That's one of the things it can talk about. I personally love Saturn and Aries people and how they assert their boundaries. It's really inspirational to me, and Saturn happens to be in Aries right now. So it's like a collective energy. Anyway, maybe that was a bit of a tangent. Maybe this person has Saturn in Aries. Maybe they're born between like 1996 and 1999, or what is it? Like around, the one before that is like 1967-ish, maybe? Anyway, the late 60s or the late 90s. Maybe this is a relationship that encourages you to have healthy boundaries. So this is someone who respects your boundaries and also encourages you to have them, and they definitely have theirs. And, you know, a lot of people think that, I'm calling myself out too, I have Saturn in Pisces, so it's a lesson I've learned. Some people feel like the relationship will be facilitated if I dissolve my boundaries. And it's actually the opposite. If you keep them very clear and open and easy to understand for everybody, this is what my boundaries are, take it or leave it, it actually makes relationships much easier and quicker to progress. So I think this is, maybe it's like a soul connection, some kind of soulmate who is helping to teach you a lesson of boundaries and authenticity. So this is really beautiful energy. The letter S could be significant too, like selective shield. Both starts with S. All right, so let's look at your cards for career and studies. We have the Three of Swords. And we have Judgment. Okay, this is interesting because when I saw the Three of Swords, I felt like you're grieving something that didn't work out. And then I saw Judgment. So I feel like, wait, let me just look at the Oracle card too. 528 hertz. They say that's like the frequency of love, which I don't even know what that means, because why would love be like one? I feel like if it was, it wouldn't be 528. That's low as hell. That's audible. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking about it too literally. I've just never really resonated with that, but let's see what the guidebook says. Unite, integrate, embrace. Everything in the world is made up of energy. This energy can neither be created nor can it be destroyed. The energy vibrates at different... Okay, wait a minute. I'm getting the message, but let me just finish reading this. The energy vibrates at different vibrational frequencies, due to which it gets its unique nature. Do you want to know the most powerful energy source in all space? 528 hertz, the love frequency. How can you doubt what develops through an act of love? It is from here that everything is born. Love is an artist who works in silence, and generally the most transformative acts do not make much noise. They are like the person who collects your rubbish early in the morning. You do not know their motive, their name, their life, but they are still there every day doing something essential for you. There can be no large action without individual actions. What seem like small gestures combine to create an invisible yet indestructible connection. Love works like the universe, unseen and outside of the spectrum, but tangible in everyone's senses. 528 hertz is used to return human DNA to its original state. See, like this, I don't get it. Anyway, I feel like that's part of, like, you mean to tell me if you play, what is 528 hertz? It's probably like a B flat or a B or something. Okay, it's a C. Approximately the musical note C5. You mean to tell me if you play me a C5, my DNA is gonna restore? Maybe I'm closed-minded. Anyhow, so I feel like that's part of the message. With the Three of Swords here, it seems like you could be grieving something that didn't work out. And then we have Judgment, which I felt like maybe something you created in the past, something you submitted or performed, depending on your professional / academic situation, was like not received well or not evaluated well by someone. And I feel like maybe the message here was that someone didn't get what you were trying to do, or like they didn't receive it in the way that you intended. Like maybe, and also there's a feeling of it hurting because you felt like it was something like of really good quality or something really meaningful or something that would resonate. And then it just didn't seem to have the impact externally that you thought it would. So, for example, like maybe you wrote an essay and you felt like this is some of my best work, and then the person evaluating it just like didn't get it. Or you published something and you expected it to land in a certain way and it fell short of your expectations. I was actually thinking of Charlie XCX, interestingly, when I sat with the energy of these two cards, because if I remember correctly, her album Crash, like that was her attempt at doing commercial pop, because she was trying to break through that barrier and get into the mainstream. And I think from her perspective, she was like, this is the album that's going to do that for me. And then she released it and it didn't have that effect. So it's like, it wasn't received in the way she hoped. It wasn't evaluated and esteemed in the way that she hoped. Something didn't perform as well. But then after that, she made Brat. And that was her album where she was saying like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And then that was the one that blew up and became really successful. And this card was talking about like making something with love. And I feel like there's some message here, and this is a Saturn card, so there's a lesson in here. It's like, almost like when you make something with the intention of it performing a certain way or being received in a certain way, it will have the opposite effect. I heard like the universe smells your fear, which is a weird message, but it's like that fear and that like, please be received in a certain way, it gets like baked into whatever you're working on or whatever you're making. But then when you just make something out of love and authenticity and just make it how you truly want it, and don't say kind of like F you to however it gets perceived or however it gets evaluated, that is when you are going to make magic. When you make with the frequency of love, whether that is literally 528 hertz or something else. Yeah, but I feel like that's the lesson here. That ironically, it's when you stop caring about how something will be judged and how something will be received, that it ends up being judged and received in the most positive way. Maybe that's something that's actually coming to fruition in the month of March, or you could start to work and make and create things with that philosophy, and that will be so much more fulfilling and so much more liberating. Okay, so cards for your spiritual and personal growth. We have the Two of Pentacles, and right away this is making me think like your ability to hold space for two things at the same time. Maybe to hold space for two emotions that seem conflicting or two truths that seem conflicting. And then we also have Pluto. That came out for you in the Astro dice. Pluto's here to transform and transmute. I feel like that actually makes a lot of sense. Pluto's here to transform something in your career and bring you more abundance. I think you're going to have some kind of breakthrough in your career or your studies or your creative ventures or like business ventures. When you start to move from love, and I just heard something like love is not what you're moving towards, it's what you are, it's actually what's fueling you forward. Love is the fuel. It's not the destination, it's the fuel. Things are going to be realigning in your life so that you can actually prioritize what's in your heart. Oh, wait a minute. That makes so much sense, because I was like, it seemed like you were working on things and making things not because you loved it, not because you wanted to, but because you had to produce a certain result. Maybe you had no choice. Maybe you had no choice. I'm like, going back to the music example, because we were talking about Charlie XCX, maybe, you know, metaphorically, you were like the artist who wants to make this passionate project, and the label's like, no, we're making songs that will go viral on TikTok. But then when you make it with that intention, like, people can tell, and it doesn't hit the same. Some of you, it's like you were playing by the rules of the boss or the man, and it still didn't work. So fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want now. And this is gonna liberate you. I'm a broken record, but things are realigning, like in your career, in your creative ventures, in your business ventures, so that you can actually do what you want to do and actually do what is in your heart. And sometimes they're going to be really successful, and sometimes they're going to flop, because that's just that's just life. That's just being a human. But something you made with love and passion that is modestly successful is always going to feel a million times better than something that blew up and became really successful, but your heart isn't in it and your essence isn't in it. There won't be fulfillment in that. I wonder if this holding space for two things is like, you can seek to make things from your heart and seek to make things that you love, and you can also want to enjoy material success. Like, you can hold space for both of those desires, and you can have both. But you were stuck under someone else's paradigm who, and maybe this is like society, some energy who insisted that you can't have both. And that you have to follow, I just heard you have to follow this outdated rule book. You have to follow this very bland formula to be successful. And there's a very stubborn energy where it's clear that the formula is not working, but someone's insistent, like, oh, you're just not doing it right. The formula's fine, you're just not doing it right. No, the formula's shit. Wow, I don't know what this is, but there's some like groundbreaking liberation kind of energy around your career and creativity that you can no longer be stifled. I'm excited for you. Okay, let's look at your cards for your community and the collective. We have the Magician. Beautiful. And we have Aurora Polaris, and we have Magnetic Field. So definitely the Magician and Magnetic Field feels like manifesting and attracting to me. And this definitely feels like you're finding your community and you're finding your people. Like, you're finding the people who get it. If you've resonated with that message of people not getting your vision or your ideas, like, you're manifesting the people who get it. The Magician is ruled by Mercury or associated with Mercury. So there's this feeling of like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, I get it. I see the vision. I want to read the Aurora Polaris one from the guidebook. It's on page 28, Cosmic Dance. Who wouldn't want to witness this? The Aurora Polaris is an event full of magic that happens in the night skies of various areas of the planet, where a light phenomenon full of color and shades of luminescence appears in the sky, dancing a astonishing cosmic dance with gentle movements. Pure natural beauty. In our lives, auroras generate sightliness, harmony, and fluidity of movements with positive magnetism. They remind us that no dream is impossible, nor any wish that is unachievable when you believe in the magic of the universe. They appear rarely at precise parts of the earth to remind us of the joy of experiencing breathtaking moments. Yeah, it reminds you of the magic of spontaneity. Ooh, it is a great moment when its musical notes vibrate and accompany the cosmic dance with color, peace, and well-being. Allow yourself to move smoothly and open up to the immensity of dreams. Music could be significant for some of my group threes because we've been talking about musicians and frequencies and musical notes and dancing. You could be feeling a sense of belonging in a community or a collective through music, bonding with a community over a shared love of music or shared tastes in music. Some of you could be going to like a concert or a festival and feeling unity there and kind of finding your people there. You could be a musician, or you could have musicians in your soul family, in your circle, or spirits talking to you through music, because earlier in your reading, I literally sat here and read out the lyrics to almost an entire song. So I do feel like music is significant to this group. And these aurora, like these lights in the sky, I think there's also something here about your visibility. You're gaining more visibility, or you're becoming visible to the right people. If there are soulmates or soul family members whom you haven't met yet, I feel like in the month of March, they're at least hearing about you, becoming acquainted with your essence, or they're like seeing something related to you. They're getting introduced to you, even if it's not like meeting in the flesh. There's just this message that you're becoming visible to the right people, and it's happening without trying. I wonder if this is, maybe it's something in your birth chart, maybe it's just something in your individual soul's journey, but I'm sort of seeing this pattern in your life where it's like, when you try to make something happen, it doesn't happen. When you stop trying, it happens. Like, the blessings come when you're not trying to find them. But if you go looking for a blessing, it's like you can't find it. It's that, and like that pattern of like, as soon as I stopped caring about the manifestation, it manifested. That might be something that you experience a lot in your life, but I think something like that is happening when it comes to being visible to the right people, or like coming into your soulmate or soul family's orbit. You don't find them when you're looking for them, but then you bump into them when you stop looking for them. It's like that kind of vibe. Okay, group threes. That's the end of the reading. So thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my Instagram, my memberships, where you can watch the extended readings that go up every month, And you can also watch full-length exclusive pick a card readings for the members. And I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to everyone who appeared in this reading, their higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, your beautiful angels, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.